Welcome to Matt's Used Chevrolet Truck Autoporium. We got 3 Chevrolets behind us right here, and they all got the same problem. We got no 6 right here. It is a fine specimen. We got a 2002 Chevrolet Avalanche. And we got a 2001 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 with the Vortec 5.3 V8. Low miles guaranteed to last you a while. All right, what's up, guys? So every single one of these trucks has got the same problem. Let's check it out. All right, so I'm working on the AC on all these, and you can see right here, we got the high side port, the low side port. This right here leaks on every single one of these trucks. So I've already recharged this one. I'm not taking this cap off. I ain't messing with it, but I'll show you the one that's leaking. They're all set up the same. 06, 02, 01. Here's the 02, here's the 06, here's the 01. So right here, you unscrew the cap, and you got a little Schrader valve in there. So it's just a little Schrader valve in there, you know, like a valve core stem on a tire, but they leak. So every single one of them leaks. I know, they're old, but they leak. It's failed on every single one of these. So if it's failed on 3 of these in a row right here on me, then it's probably a common failure point for everyone else. Telltale signs, you know, if there's any oil around here or around here, like this O2 right here, it's nasty. There's a bunch of leaking oil right there. A bunch of gunk caked on. So this thing will start leaking, you'll lose all the refrigerant out of the line, and then your AC just stops working. And the AC compressor stops coming on because this safety switch right here cuts out. And it cuts out to protect it because there's low refrigerant in here. And then this one, you know, it can leak too. It's got a cap down in there, rubber seal, and that seals this off right here. You know, it's just a little ball in there, a little plastic ball, and it seals up. You can replace these. You see it's got wrench flats on it. You can unscrew it and get you a new one. It's got an O-ring on there, and it's, you know, not 20 years old. So that'll be sealed there, and there, and in there too. And then down in here, there's an O-ring that goes bad on all of these. It's bad in here too. There's a Schrader valve in there too. You can get a new O-ring, a Schrader valve, and replace all these little valves so it doesn't leak. So I have AC gauges, I have everything, right? But I had some of these laying around, so I decided to pump it up to see if it was leaking. You know, went ahead, popped it on here, see if it was leaking, you know, pump it up a little bit. You know, this one's empty now, but pump it up, pop it off, sprayed it down with some bubbly water. And you know, this one's already leaked all the way down, but it'll start bubbling like crazy, big bubbles, not those little bubbles, and you'll know it's leaking, trust me. So of course it's reading 0 PSI hooked up, but yeah, it's 0. So they make a special tool that you can screw on the top of it, you know, close it off and take the little valve out and then put the new valve in, and then you don't have to drain the whole system. But I don't have that. This thing's already drained, so we need to fix it. Let's go on ahead and get it fixed. Basically, it's already at 0, so I'm just gonna take this valve out, that one in there too, if I can get it out. Probably get a new one of these while I'm at it. And then we're just gonna pull a vacuum on it for a little bit, see if there's any other leaks, fill it up. All right, here's the new parts right here. So we got the high pressure valve here. We got some new Schrader valves and a cap and, you know, O-ring in there. It's got that little plastic ball in there. That's where it leaks. And then we have our orifice tube right here. These things are cheap. So the orifice tube is in there. That's the high pressure valve. Then there's the Schrader valve under there. And then there's another Schrader valve under here. So this is the pressure switch right here. These things can go bad, but there's an O-ring that seals it up. So there's a Schrader valve in there. You can see it kind of looks like it was leaking. See all that gunk around there? I don't know, but it's getting replaced. And that green O-ring is going to go on there. Nothing but the best. So I got these gauges hooked up now, and let's see what it's reading. Nothing. Completely empty. So yeah, we're going to have to fill it up after we pull the vacuum. See what this is looking like. Yep, just as I suspected. The rubber has deteriorated. See how it's bad right there? Yeah, it's bad. I'm going to go ahead and swap that one out in there too. So this pressure switch valve isn't looking too bad, but I didn't suspect that of leaking. This one I suspected of leaking and it was bad. Get all this off of here too. Yeah, this new one's looking much better. Found this special tool, vice grips. Oh yeah, she's old. Get the new one in. Finally dug this orifice tube out of here. Yeah, it's not too bad, but it's cheap to replace. Let's get this new one in here. That was a pain to dig out. There's a hidden O-ring back up in here too. All right, so I went down to Harbor Freight. They had some O-rings that fit. This one right here and this one right here. So this one right here, this size, fit in here. And then this size, fit in here. With it running, you can jump this right here to see if the compressor will kick on. And it did, but I don't want to leave it on like that for long. Let's charge this thing up. All right, I got it hooked up here. I got the ports all the way open. Let's vacuum it down and see if there's any leaks. It's going down. All right, I'm gonna close them off, shut off the vacuum pump and let it sit for like, 30 minutes or something and see if this needle moves at all. If it doesn't move, we're good to charge. All right, so it was holding a vacuum, for 30 minutes, so it's good. I'm vacuuming it down right now for like 30, 45 minutes. The little pump's doing work. I got some of this UV dye. We can pump it up with some of this stuff. That way we can find any future leaks. So here's a bottle right here. It's got 1 fluid ounce in here. They said to use like 1/4 of it when you're doing this. I got my AC gauges hooked up and this thing had a leak, so I pretty much fixed it at this point, but I want to make sure in the future that it's not going to leak. And if it does, we'll be able to find it. So what I do is I dump some of this in there so that if it leaks in the future, I can come back with a flashlight at night and find my leak so I don't have to do this all over again. So you just get a UV flashlight, shine it, all over the engine bay, and you can find the leak easy. You don't want to get this stuff all over the place. So what I do is after I pull a vacuum, I just take the line off, dump some of this in there before I follow it up with my refrigerant. Saves a lot of time finding future leaks. All right, so it's done pulling a vacuum. This thing's been going for like 45 minutes now, so it's time to inject this stuff. Inject some of this, get some refrigerant in there, we should be good to go. I did go ahead and get down in here and clean out the air filters while I was at it. They were pretty nasty, so this should be blowing nice and cold. Got my SuperTech, and of course we can't read it. Pretty sure it takes 1.8 pounds. I looked it up before. So you got to do a little math here. You got to find out how many ounces and pounds of refrigerant you need. So we got to put in a couple bottles, measure the final bottle to make sure we get just enough refrigerant out of it. All right, it's done. The high side's reading good and the low side's reading good. Never open this. No leaks. See if this one's leaking. Nothing. Oh yeah, that's blowing ice cold now. Yes, AC. Middle of summer, nice and cool. This thing is blowing great. All right, so these things have failed on 3 different trucks right behind me. If it's failed on 3 in a row, then it's probably bad on yours too. That's where I'd start if I had AC problems with one of these trucks. You know, Silverado, Avalanche, Yukon, Denali, Tahoe, Suburban, all those vehicles. Then if they got a similar setup, then it's probably where I'd start. Check out on the next one. Later.